We are expanding, and so McFarlane Toys is hiring. So do you qualify, or do you know somebody who would qualify for some of the jobs we're about to go out with? Here's one of them. Do you like to paint toys? Do you know somebody who has a good color sense? Do you know somebody who does painting? If you do, we've got the perfect job for you.
Woo! Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and somebody got a little hasty last week. If you go back, way back to the last weekly, at the end of the episode, I floated the idea of discontinuing coverage of 7-inch style figures. Now, the thought process was the same as usual. I think of the weekly as trying to give you as much as possible in the shortest amount of time, but it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes it's because of the amount of toys to talk about, but most of the time it's me. The need to ramble. My other thought was, not a lot of people come around here for 7-inch stuff, and I didn't realize, when I say 7-inch, just how many toy lines are actually in that scale. I mentioned McFarlane, I think I mentioned NECA, but that also comes around to Super 7 with the Ultimates. We can't stop Ultimates, right? Storm Collectibles. Yeah, and the biggest thing for me was the comments, saying that's the reason you came here. I didn't, well, at the time I thought, well, not a lot of people comment on figures like that, but I realize a lot of you do. So it's a back and forth. You guys convinced me, hey, let's just leave it in here. That's what happens when I don't have a bullet point. I went into the weekly thinking I'll just come up with something at the end. That thought shot in my head, and I didn't actually think about it before just bleh. But I'm not doing 3 3/4 inch or Hot Toys because those realms are foreign to me. So why not jump right into that larger scale and some Robo Don't Know with the next assortment of McFarlane's Witcher toys. Never played the game, only watched a little bit of the series, and even though I asked the Monday Fwoosh live chat room about how to pronounce this, I'm still gonna get it wrong. Is it Geralt? 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 Using most of the figure that we've seen before, this is the Viper armor, kind of a blue to it. It's just a different look, and it does come with 2 different swords too. But for a bit of color coordination, there is also Elder Blood Ciri. When I look at this, my customizing brain goes, oh, well, that would be kind of a cool medieval times rogue. And then that starts me wondering what an X-Men team from that same period would look like. But to that point, which always seems to pop up whenever I see a awesome looking toy that I have no investment in, seeing the Ice Giant, I'm interested in taking that and trying to shove it into other displays. Wouldn't it look kick-ass with some Asgardians, or Loki sends this against the Avengers? It just works. Given the size, this is a $40 action figure compared to the $25 of the other 2. But as far as exact size goes, all the listings I can find says 12-inch scale. This is the same problem we ran into when we were trying to figure out what scale DC Multiverse was going to be, and they kept saying it's going to be 6-inch scale to 12-inch scale. That's not the proper term there. I hate to get all nerdy, but 12-inch scale for this would be like 20 inches tall. 12 inches means it's 12 inches. Anyway, these are set to release in November. The links are in the description. Sticking with McFarlane, and don't worry, it keeps going. There were some new Mortal Kombat figures revealed this week. Well, 2 new ones, and then 2 we already knew about went up for solicitation at the same time. We had seen the Platinum Con Shao Kahn, which is essentially, again, like The Witcher and probably Ciri. This is reused from the first version of Shao Kahn, just in a brighter silver color. When it comes to video games like this, I'm still pointing back to The Witcher, who's over there. When it comes to video games like this, color swaps are inevitable. It's just part of the gameplay, which works out on the action figure side because they can reuse those molds, get a little bit more money back, and that helps pay for new molds, new characters down the line. The same goes for Fighting Abbot Liu Kang, even though he is, what you say, about 40-45% more naked than his first figure. Now, I never got that, so I don't know if that's a floating rubber piece shirt over that original figure. But here, like the original DC Multiverse Batman, I can't help seeing like bulldog jowls for the abs. It's just got that woof, 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 woof. But making it a full assortment is Kotal Kahn. Kotal Kahn? Kotal Kahn? Yeah. I don't have to tell you guys, once again, that I am unfamiliar with Mortal Kombat when it comes to the later games, or the more recent games. But this, I do not have enough Aztec-inspired action figures on my shelf. It just looks like a badass. And cool toys are cool toys, right? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm not interested in it, but I can take it and put it over somewhere else. Blah, blah, blah. I do know Joker, though, just not his Mortal Kombat appearance, which seems a bit generic, especially compared to some of the other looks we've seen over the years from comics, from movies, from other places. This is just take your basic Joker elements and throw it on a human body. I did make the joke with my son that, is that Kane his harvesting tool? And then I realized, oh, I'm mixing up games. That's Fortnite. This is Mortal Kombat. But if you're looking for a more subdued Clown Prince of Crime for your DC Multiverse shelf, this may do you. $20 a piece, all scheduled for November. Speaking of DC Multiverse, look who's rearing her head back up. The Birds of Prey Harley was first shown way back at the start of the DC Multiverse line in January 2020. She appeared on the card backs for some of the released figures, but she herself was never released. There was speculation of likeness rights issues, or just flat out canceled, or the timing was wrong. Well, actually, what's the... Wait, the movie released February of 2020, so the timing couldn't have been more right, I guess. What it boils down to is that it's releasing now. Solicitations for this went up on Amazon and other places this week, and I guess it's to coincide with the Suicide Squad, get more Harley Quinn out there? Am I just throwing words and phrases out there, hoping something sticks? Yeah. Comes with a mallet and her egg sandwich, $20, drops in November. But that's not all from DC Multiverse. It's not a full-on solicitation, it's just the reveal of the Target exclusive Batman Futures End Build-A-Figure Wave Blight. You don't know how many times it took me to say all those words in that order. I can see why some are disappointed in the look of this figure, but remember, way back in February, McFarlane did say that he was going for the comic book mech look, not the green skeleton in Sunday best suit. It fits in with the theme of the whole wave. They're all comic inspired with the extra angst and the techie details. That's just right up Todd's alley. You should have known it was going to be like this. Seeing this, pre-order should be going up soon. Even though, did we ever get a variant for the Batwoman Beyond? Because we got one for Batman Beyond. We got one for Shriek with the unmasked head. I don't know. Keeping the DC train a-rollin', this week Mezco hit us with pre-orders for their Superman Man of Steel edition, and they revealed this back in February during Not Toy Fair, and when we first saw it, most of us knew that this was going to be the Superman to get for this line. Just a clean, comic-inspired look, no Mezcofication, no panel lines, no bits and bobs, no armor plates. Big Blue Boy Scout. But it wasn't until this week that we saw all the accessories. 7 alternate heads, including a couple with semi-smiles on them, which, when was the last time we had a Superman action figure that was happy, or, you know, looked Supermanish when he's at his best? There's 2 of those, one surprised, one stern, one struggling, one with light up vision eyes, and one with slots to plug in one of the 2 heat vision effects. For the heat blast, you have high setting, you have low setting, you know, like a hairdryer. I'm not sure how the light up eyes will work. Will it be a LED neck ball to shine through the head, or does the head have internal components of some kind? But wait, there's more! Punch and bullet ricochet effects, a kryptonite trophy display, the Phantom Zone projector, a Black Mercy chest attachment, and then a perfectly timed Starro facehugger. I have no idea what I'm going to do with all this stuff, but that's not the point. The point is that it's neat to have options, and some of these things have never seen plastic form before. That does add to the price though, pushing it up to $125, but I'd rather have cool stuff like this than stickers or patches or lunchboxes or any of the other stuff they usually throw in there to up the price. I can use this stuff. This, along with the Robin tees, does have me wanting a clean classic Batman to go along with this. And given the amount of Batmans that Mezco has released over the years, that's kind of a crazy thought, but I'll buy another one. They say it releases July of 2022, but we all know better. They're going to release it whenever they damn well please. And it may be before that, it may be after that, but at some point in the future, this Superman should be rocking our shelves. Oh man, fighting games. I tell this story every time I have to explain myself. I've seen a lot of fighting games played over shoulders at arcades or at other guys' houses when they're playing them on their consoles, but I've never played a lot myself. And Tekken was one of those that my friends didn't play a lot, so I didn't see a lot. But It's King. He's recognizable even if you're not into video beat-em-ups. He's a tiger-headed wrestling thick boy. What is there not to love about this thing? Storm Collectibles seems to have worked their magic with their usual rubber overlays and their articulation packed in everywhere, but I don't think the character lends itself to the accessory department because the whole set comes off a little bare. No, go ahead, take a look. I ain't lying. Get it? Lion, tiger, bear. Anyway, the $95 price tag for extra hands and an effect piece doesn't really hold the same value as other Storm Collectibles figures that have extra heads, more extravagant effects, but it's King. Well, I guess the cape could be considered an extra too. Like I said, $95, set to release later this year. Why are they wearing bunny slippers? Why's the toilet eating pizza and drinking coffee? Oh, yeah. Out of nowhere this week, Toy Notch, the company that gave us those awesome Astrobots a while back, has it been? Oh, it's been quite a while. But this week they hit us with this, Toiletbots. And all they said was pre-order soon. When I first saw it, I didn't know the size. I was afraid that they were going to be smaller, but I seem to have missed a con at some point where they showed a bunch of the Astrobots, and the female versions haven't come out yet, have they? But if you look down in the corner, there's the Toiletbot, and there's a placard behind it saying 1/12. I was never able to get an Atlas or Peabody from Portal. I don't know why. Maybe I skipped them, and there was some expensive ones. This may fill that void for me. And you gotta admit, Portabody is pretty clever. I mean, if nothing else. Hopefully, more pictures and the pre-orders will hit soon. I mean, we're gonna keep an eye on these. The Hasbro Transformers team had a little Fan First Friday shindig today, and they showed off more 86 Studio Series figures, starting with the sweeps. It's reused from Scourge, but they say it's in a more animated, accurate blue color on it, and then they swapped the hands. I guess on Scourge, it's an open and a grip. On the sweep, it's a grip and an open hand. You know, to add a little left-right variety on the shelf. Oh, and I nearly forgot the new blast effect. So if you're into building an army behind Scourge, here's your chance. Earthrise Starscream gets an upgrade to his very special coronation ceremony with the crown, the shoulder pads, the hinged cape, and then they've changed some, well, I'm not quite sure what they changed on the sculpt, but they definitely changed some paint to make it more accurate to the big screen. To make it even more extravagant, they added a throne or a chair. They called it the seat from the Nemesis, I think. And with that, Starscream actually sits in it. You can store the cape and the weapons on the back, so it works as a base too. But I think my favorite is Perceptor, mostly because somehow, I've never had a Perceptor figure in my life. But look at this robot mode. It's very solid feeling. It's got the open in the arms where the hands swing in, and the transformation is basically sit down, raise your arms, shift your head, chest. They did include a tank mode that I am completely unfamiliar with. I guess it was in the comics, and at that point, I don't think I was paying a lot of attention to those. Even tank mode is lean back, bring your legs up. And I'm talking all this shit about the transformations, and I guarantee when I get this, and when I pull it out and transform it for the first and final time, I'll get halfway through and get lost and go back to robot mode and just leave it like that. Those are all going up for pre-order today. Well, yesterday if you're watching this on Saturday. If you're watching it on Sunday, it was a couple of days ago. Monday, you know how it goes. They also teased the full reveal for their HasLab Star Saber, saying tune in August 27th. The HasLab Galactus doesn't end until August 31st. We're not crossing the streams, are we? Surely it's an announcement for, hey, we're going to start this HasLab in a month or so. You got to leave some breathing room in between. But the Hasbro Marvel Boys also had a live stream on Fan First Monday, so you know there's some legends to talk about. And because Galactus is on everybody's mind, they gave the Fantastic Four some love, starting right out of the gate with Psycho Man, another new unique villain for the shelf. And even though when I close my eyes and daydream about villains that we don't have, this isn't my perfect mental image, but it's still a damn nifty design. The whites are a little too clean and bright. Ah, you thought I was gonna say bright white. Damn it. But I do like the contrast of metallic green on top of it, especially on the pull floaties around the legs. High Evolutionary was high up on my list. My favorite non-X-Men, or well, one of my favorite non-X-Men comics ever was the Evolutionary War crossover Avengers Annual with the backup Avengers, Beast and Hercules and Grey Hulk. I don't know why I love that issue, but getting the High Evolutionary, I'm happy. I've seen some disappointment with the look here, it being a modern rendition or a mix of looks, but it's still that handle-headed high evolutionary head. That's that high evolutionary skirt. Those are those high evolutionary banded arms. Have I killed the word evolutionary for you yet? But a Fantastic Four wave isn't a Fantastic Four wave without the Fantastic Four. I've apparently got a repeating glitch now. Fantastic, fantastic, evolutionary. What are words but sounds stuck together by our ancestors? You know? Anyway, we start the new white and blue FF team with Thing. Mostly reused. They did resculpt his shorty shorts to be shorter, and then 2 new heads. One without teeth that's kind of, I don't know if he's surprised or happy, but then there's also an angry head with teeth. They do both have that more classic top of the head brow that comes kind of dome-like. Hey, options. That's not a bad thing. Mr. Fantastic looks dapper in his lab coat, but it also comes with alternate arms so you can go full costume with elongated fingers. Not the best representation of his powers, but hopefully in the future at some point we get a deluxe edition where it's stretchy torso, stretchy limbs, stretchy all over the place. Human Torch finally gets his classic black lines on the body, and I love this. I really, really do, but I think I would have loved it even more if it was solid and not translucent plastic. Just a lighter red on the body and then brighter yellow on the flames. That's classic in my mind. And an alternate head without facial features would have been cool too. I guess I'm very nitpicky today, but you ain't seen nothing yet because there's also Invisible Woman. Granted, I do not dislike the hair as much as some others on the internet, but I wonder what happened to that face. And it's not that I need all my action figures to look like supermodels, it's just that her head is swallowing her face or something, or she's looking in a spoon, maybe? You know me, I hate to be negative, but I may have to get an older Sue and do some head swaps or see what happens there. Hair swaps too? Because, again, I don't hate this hair. Thankfully, if you don't care for that, but still need an Invisible Woman on your shelf, Hasbro Pulse has an exclusive translucent version. The sculpt is still there, but there's not the paint accentuating it on top of that. It's just all clear. And what I ended up doing is going for this. This will be my Sue in this display, and then get the other one for head swaps, playing around, because that's what I do. And then Hasbro Pulse is also offering a Flame Off Johnny. I think we saw this a while back, maybe the digital render, but it's just Johnny FF costume. Little flames here and there. All the Fantastic Four were given a ship date of March 2022, but I think that's Hasbro playing it safe with the current state of shipping all over the world. If it comes in early, great. If it comes in March or later, they have a little leeway because, you know, nobody on the internet is going to gripe about that because it's the internet. They don't gripe about stuff or get angry about ship dates or, you know, action figures in general. Where is my toys? The Fantastic Four, of course, plays right into the HasLab Galactus campaign that is going on right now, so they added some pictures with the new team surrounding the Devourer of Worlds, and it works. It works so well. Well, okay, they also brought back up the Frankie Ray Nova stretch goal of 16K. Is that units sold? And added a fire base to her. Wraps around the leg, looks like it's flying up, can either work on a table or in Galactus's hand. And Dwight also mentioned that it may work with other fire-type characters. So we'll see about that. But all that together, and the hype, and I'm going in. I've got to get a Galactus. I had talked myself out of it because they also announced the Rancor about the same time, but if Transformers is doing Starsaber next, then that gives me some room between the Rancor and Galactus, and really, Galactus looks badass, and when am I going to get another chance at it? You know? I might as well throw in now. But Star Wars team, you better hold off a little bit. need to re-up the wallet. I don't have my wallet. I'm just slapping my ass on camera. But I think my favorite reveal was from my beloved X side of things, the X-Force 3-pack. Now, we had already seen Cannonball and Domino a few live streams ago in digital form. It's always better to see them in plastic. I'm not sure about Copycat's microphone headdress thing. It looks kind of blobby, kind of soft, but I do like the overall look. I am loving Sam, though. The darker colors, the optional heads, gritting, not gritting, the goggle differences between the two. And then, of course, the legs. He still comes with the blast effect, but the legs, that sells it for a lot of people. The big surprise was Richter, though. They started it off, or well, they eased us into it by showing a picture of comic book X-Force, and I thought, oh, here comes Feral or Siren. But they hit us with Richter, and I'm not complaining. He is more than welcome in his oh-so-90s It Hurts costume. I know the looks of each of the characters we've gotten in X-Force so far don't match 100% for, you know, this team, this era, this artist, whenever this was, but I'm getting too old to be that nitpicky about things, so I'm building an X-Force team and I couldn't be happier. This is also exclusive to Hasbro Pulse, but it's also on Shop Disney. And then we usually end the Marvel Legends live streams with a tease, and here it was a pale hand with some sculpted detail in the palm. And first thoughts were Spider-Man animated series Morbius. But then guesses turned to Morlun, who I'm guessing is a more modern character. I need to read some comics, right? I have no attachment to either of them, really. I wasn't into the animated series. I'm not into the modern comics. But if they're good figures, then I'm in. That's just how it works. And that's all for this week. And yes, I realize if I had cut out 7-inch coverage, I would have talked about Legends and toilets and one other thing. What was it? If you want to see any of these pictures up close without me all evolutionary, fantastic, fanlutionary, evotastic, I'll be posting all of those along with links to pre-orders, more information on the Fwoosh front page tomorrow, Saturday at noon. But if you can't wait that long, the links are in the description. And jumping back to Marvel Legends, if you backed the HasLab Sentinel, they sent out emails this week saying they would start shipping at the end of September. The wording was kind of weird, but whatever. When it ships, it ships. But also Marvel Legends, Veebs received the Amazon exclusive Wolverine 5-pack this week. So we may be opening that up on the Fwooshcast Live on Sunday. You can check that out here over on the live stream channel. And, hey, I'll be right there along with you going, how's Callisto? Is Callisto cool? But if you enjoyed this Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. Who is texting me right now? It's Prodigy and Dis Thunder talking about the new Transformers. Yeah, Perceptor is cool. I opened up tracks on Toys with the Boys Wednesday night over on the Dave Wonder channel, and I don't know, there was something about it. It's kind of floppy, kind of loose, kind of goosey. I had the thought of, yeah, I'm dropping Transformers, but then they come back around and hit you with Perceptor, and I need Perceptor. And then I was about to say, maybe I'll stick with the movie figures, but you know that's untrue too. More G1 stuff will probably get me.